And here we are with the third and last part of the Final Fight story explained. Again, if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, you should probably go watch them first. Links in the description. This video covers the stories of the Final Fight characters in Street Fighter 4, 5 and 6, as well as delving into the best installment of the series and one of the best games on the PlayStation 2, Final Fight Streetwise. Just kidding, this game sucks, but we're going to explain its story anyway. So buckle up everyone, here's the Final Fight story explained, part 3. SIN, the remnant of Shadaloo, flooded Metro City with illegal weapons, escalating chaos to unprecedented levels. Guy, driven by a sense of duty and justice, entered the SIN tournament to uncover the mastermind behind this arms influx. Amid the chaos, he encountered Bison, who carried an unconscious Rose. In a familiar act of heroism, Guy saved the fortune teller once again. Later, his path intertwined with that of his old friend, Cody. Cody, perpetually restless, was grappling with the unbearable sensation of boredom. Upon learning about the SIN tournament, he seized the opportunity and broke out of prison, much to the annoyance of the guards who became used to his antics. For Cody, the tournament represented a much-needed break from the mundane, a chance to escape the dull routine of imprisonment. His tendency to escape when boredom struck was well known, yet he always returned, making his way back on his own terms. When he met his old friend Guy, Cody confessed to a peculiar sense of belonging to his cell, despite his constant pursuit of excitement beyond its confines. Guy realized that deep down, Cody was still a genuinely good guy. Rolento, driven by his aspiration for a utopia according to his own ideals, had his focus set on achieving his vision. When he received intelligence detailing a forthcoming test of a cutting-edge soldier enhancement system by the private military contractor SIN, known as Bliss, at an imminent tournament, he swiftly made the decision to partake. His aim was clear: to secure this advanced enhancement system, viewing it as a critical asset for empowering his army and furthering his delusion of an ideal world. Following the downfall of Mad Gear, Poison transitioned into the role of a wrestling manager, yet her wrestlers struggled to captivate the audience, resulting in poor event attendance. Recognizing the crowd's lack of interest in her charges and hearing discussions about an alternative attraction dubbed the main event, presumably linked to the SIN tournament promoted by flyers in the area, she took matters into her own hands. Opting to step into the ring herself, she resolved to attend the tournament to scout potential new talent. On his end, Hugo scrapped by a construction worker after the disbandment of Mad Gear and realizing that the criminal life didn't suit him. When a group of ex-Mad Gear members sought a confrontation, he showed no interest. Driven by a longing for home, Hugo decided to participate in SIN's new tournament to exhibit his strength. Following the tournament's conclusion, Hugo returned to his initial career path as a professional wrestler. His former colleague, Poison, approached him, proposing to become his manager. After some consideration, Hugo eventually embraced her offer, and they united as partners from that point onward. Cody's stint in prison drew to a close when Mike Hager absolved him of his crimes, ushering him into the role of Metro City's new mayor. Overnight, Cody's identity shifted from a convicted felon to the city's leader.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Free from incarceration, he found the mayoral duties monotonous, yet harbored a secret drive to personally eradicate the city's criminal elements, both from his office chair and by direct action. While riding a cab with his assistant Marlowe, Cody's inattentiveness irked her, reminding him of the support and expectations the former mayor Haggard had placed on him. Halting the cab, Cody spotted an illegally parked monster truck owned by his old foe, Abigail. Following the Final Fight saga and Belger's downfall, Abigail, like Hugo and Poison, purportedly turned his back on his criminal past and established Abigail's Scrap Metal, a mechanics garage in Metro City's Bay Area. He employed former Mad Gear cohorts Jay, Axel, and Roxy, who seemingly resided with him at the garage. Despite his new life, Abigail's immaturity and penchant for conflict led him into altercations with various Street Fighter characters. Cody encountered Abigail after a scuffle and confronted him about his illegally parked truck. Cody shared his vision of revitalizing Metro City and expressed the desire to eliminate the likes of Abigail to bring joy to the community, which is a bit harsh if you ask me. Cody pondered his journey from a vigilante to a detainee, and now, as the mayor of Metro City, his contemplation was interrupted by Zeku's sudden appearance. Zeku offered to aid in city governance, but Cody, wanting to test Zeku's skills, challenged him to a duel. Upon emerging victorious, Cody declined Zeku's assistance, understanding the incompatibility of such clandestine endeavors with his mayoral duties. Marlo arrived, reprimanding Cody for engaging in street fights and damaging a streetlight during the scuffle. It was then when Lucia made her appearance. Earlier that night, she was tasked to investigate Abigail's scrap metal house at Hager's behest. Suspecting ties to the Mad Gear gang, she confronted Abigail, but soon realized he had left the gang. During a sparring match with Cody, Lucia recognized him as the mayor who actively tackled illicit activities firsthand. This sparked memories of their past partnership against the Mad Gear gang, enlightening Lucia to Cody's hands-on approach to maintaining the city's integrity. After a major fallout with Hugo, Poison returned to Metro City. She reunited with Roxy and saw potential in Abigail as a replacement for Hugo. Poison tested Abigail's strength, winning the bout. Roxy scolded Poison for her self-centeredness, leading to an apology as Poison recognized Abigail's role as an owner for his own garage. Visiting City Hall, she sparred with Cody. The latter informed her that he'd spent time together once his mayoral term ended. I guess Jessica is an old story now. Lucia arrived, thinking Cody had been attacked, but it was merely a reminiscence about old times. As Cody left, Lucia comforted Poison about her rift with Hugo. When he returned, Poison decided to give their partnership another chance, and they remained partners long after these events. And what do you know? The Mad Gear gang surfaced under Damn Thrasher's leadership, although it posed nowhere near the same level of threat to the city as it once did. Cody, while absent from Street Fighter VI, appeared to continue his role as the mayor of Metro City. Similarly, Guy was missing from the game, having presumably ascended to master status and taken Kimberly as his pupil, designating her as the new heir to the Bushinryu. Updates from Honda indicated that Sodom was doing well and had formed a friendship with him. Though Sodom didn't appear in the game, his truck was notably parked next to Honda's restaurant. Carlos Miyamoto persisted as a vigilante, wielding his sharp katana against thugs and being a total pain in the side to defeat when he shows up as a competitor in the fighting tournaments. Hager's whereabouts were vague, but a massive statue in his honor hinted at his contributions to the city. While I do think that he fought hard for the city, seeing how Metro City is swarming with gangs and thugs makes me question the effectiveness of his efforts, and of Cody's. Seriously, there are more gangs and thugs than there are normal citizens in this freaking city. You can't walk 2 steps without being assaulted from multiple thugs, especially during nighttime. And they like to hang around right next to the police station, of all places. How does this city even function? The main series storyline may have concluded, but the overall narrative's fate seems unfortunate due to the latest installment that served as the franchise's conclusion. Final Fight Streetwise, an installment deemed non-canon, diverged drastically from the main series, establishing its own universe. Here, a tense atmosphere prevails, and communication is laden with swearing, because yeah, we're so mature, deviating significantly from the established tone and dynamics of the main Final Fight/Street Fighter war. But hey, Kami's in the game. Don't get your hopes up though, she's an optional boss, and has no relevance to the plot whatsoever. Also, she's a total pushover. Meet Kyle, the younger brother of Cody. a pit fighter navigating his way through the fight circuit. Yes, Cody has a brother now. Deal with it. In this timeline, Cody's days of fighting ended due to arthritis in his knees. He stepped into the coaching role for his younger brother, but found Kai's approach to fighting lacking in seriousness. This left Cody feeling frustrated, reigniting his yearning to return to the fighting scene himself. Following one of Kai's victories, the siblings decided to celebrate at a bar owned by Kai's girlfriend, Vanessa. Their revelry was disrupted by a shady man known as the Stiff and his gang, demanding Cody's presence. When Cody refused, a brawl ensued. Despite their fighting prowess, the Stiff threat with a gun tipped the scales. He took Cody, leaving Kyle unconscious. Upon awakening, Kyle's sole focus was finding his brother, despite Vanessa's warnings. She handed Kyle a matchbox dropped by the Stiff, bearing the Metro Diner logo. With this as his only lead, Kyle embarked on his mission to locate and rescue Cody. After tracking leads and asking some questions, some with his mouth, others with his fists, Kyle encountered a dubious character named the Weasel. After a calm and civil conversation, the Weasel disclosed the Stiff's location, a nearby warehouse. Expecting an easy find, Kyle walked into a trap. The warehouse was a setup, the Weasel's henchmen lying in wait to ambush him. Unfazed, Kyle demonstrated his prowess, overcoming every assailant, including the Weasel and his unique makeshift vehicle. Extracting critical information, Kyle learned about the Stiff's scheduled meeting with the Weasel at a hotel. Intent on taking the Weasel's place, Kyle obtained the hotel's whereabouts from a shady informant named Too Ill and set off to intercept the meeting. Reaching the hotel's summit proved to be an arduous journey for Kyle, battling through layers of henchmen and underlings. He encountered a peculiar breed of goons on the upper floors. Their eyes emitted an eerie green glow, evidence of a potent and mysterious substance that granted them almost superhuman strength and rendering them zombie-like in appearance. Amidst the chaos, Kyle finally confronted the Stiff in his office. The Stiff claimed Cody's desire to return to the ring, asserting his connection to a mafia figure, Vito Braca. Kyle remained skeptical, and their exchange quickly escalated into a confrontation. Their clash extended to the rooftops, where Kyle managed to edge the Stiff perilously close to the edge. In a tense moment, the Stiff dangled, threatening Kyle with a firearm, but Kyle released his grip, causing the Stiff to plunge, seemingly to his demise. Kyle's quest brought him face to face with Vito in his restaurant, but the mafia boss showed no hospitality. Instead, Vito commanded his men to forcibly eject Kyle from the premises. Kyle's persistence, however, struck a nerve with Vito, leading to an unlikely deal. In exchange for information about his brother, Kyle agreed to fight for Vito. Kyle proved his worth, yet Vito didn't respect their agreement and summoned his menacing bodyguard, Blades, a disturbing and psychotic figure, to forcibly remove Kyle from the establishment, a task Blades completed with ruthless and cold efficiency. Kyle found himself at a loss, all his trails gone cold. In a stroke of genius, his girlfriend suggested seeking the aid of a psychic. Following the psychic's brilliant and outside-the-box advice, Kyle headed to Cody's apartment, hoping to find a breakthrough. There, he stumbled upon a saved message on Cody's phone. It was none other than Haggard, Cody's trusted old friend. Determined, Kyle resolved to seek Haggard's counsel, hoping the former mayor might hold the key to finding his brother. No longer holding the mayoral seat, but still engaged in vigilantism within Metro City, Haggard extended an invitation to Kyle, welcoming him to his gym to impart some wrestling techniques. His advice for Kyle was to approach Vito with more respect this time around. On returning, Kyle found Vito deep in conversation with a mysterious priest, their discussion ending upon the priest's departure. Seizing the opportunity, Kyle offered to fight for Vito without charge in exchange for information regarding Cody. Vito agreed, and after prevailing in a match against the familiar Andre, Vito revealed details about Cody's involvement, confirming Cody's initial allegiance and subsequent dependency on Glow for relief from knee pain and boost in strength. However, Vito admitted to being unaware of Cody's current whereabouts. Having exhausted his leads, Kyle retraced his steps back to the hotel where the confrontation with the thief had occurred. There, he unexpectedly encountered Cody in person, unmistakably under the influence of the glow substance. Cody, with eyes aglow, adamantly refused to accompany Kyle home. Their discussion interrupted by the sudden appearance of Vanessa's brother, Sims, a police officer actively seeking Cody. In haste, Cody dashed off, with Sims hot in his trail. In the midst of the commotion, Cody dropped a photograph featuring himself and Guy. Recognizing the significance, Kyle resolved to seek out Guy, hoping to uncover more about Cody's current state. Seeking answers, Kyle sought out Guy in Japantown, discovering Guy had established a dojo to train ninjas. A misunderstanding led to a brief scuffle between Kyle and Guy's students, narrowly avoiding a tussle with Guy himself. Clarifying his intentions, Kyle discussed matters with Guy, learning about Guy's investigation into the glow substance and its mastermind. Their conversation was abruptly halted by the arrival of Blades, who displayed the severed head of one of Guy's men. Chaos ensued as an explosion ignited the dojo, leading to a vicious attack by Vito's thugs. Kyle and Guy narrowly escaped the inferno, emerging unharmed. Enraged by Vito's betrayal, Kyle resolved to confront him head-on. He went to Vito's usual spot to no avail. The restaurant's cook refused to divulge Vito's whereabouts unless Kyle participated in a mandatory and possibly one of the worst minigames in gaming history. Eventually, he traced Vito's location to the local church. Stealthily entering, Kyle stumbled upon Vito deep in conversation with the enigmatic priest, Father Bella. Concerned about the glow's growing influence and the blame directed at him, Vito sought solace in the priest's counsel. However, Kyle's discovery took a dark turn when Father Bella covertly signaled Blades to execute Vito. Shocked, Kyle realized the priest's true intentions and the sinister alliance between Father Bella and Blades. Before he could make his escape, Kyle was ambushed by Blades, instructed by Father Bella to silence him for good. Thankfully, Kyle emerged unharmed and victorious from the ambush. Following the call from Kyle hurried to join him and found Cody in a deplorable state, utterly consumed by the addictive glow. Enraged and seeking retribution against those responsible, Kyle discovered from Guy that the Weasel was behind the distribution of the substance. Determined to confront the Weasel, Kyle returned to his domain, where he was met with a swarm of thugs, some fueled by the potent glow. Unfazed, Kyle faced them down, and after another calm and civil conversation, the Weasel divulged the location of the glow's production facility. But amidst this revelation, a distressing fact emerged. Cody has vanished, leaving his whereabouts unknown. Kyle and Guy agreed to meet at the factory to put an end to the creation of glow. Arriving at the factory as planned, Kyle encountered Dr. Chang, a scientist deeply involved in the creation of glow. Shockingly, she was manipulating a corpse, engaged in dubious experiments. Dr. Chang revealed that she was coerced by Father Bella into concocting the substance against her will. As Kyle was deep in conversation with her, Guy contacted him with urgent news. He had planted charges in the factory and everything was about to explode. Dr. Chang seized the opportunity of the distracted Kyle to escape. To Kyle's horror, the lifeless body she was working on suddenly stirred to life. It was a transformed Steve, now looking like a monstrous figure under the glow's influence, and following a questionable diet. The encounter was intense, but Kyle managed to overcome this new threat, Resident Evil style. However, the fight left him injured, and just in time, he narrowly escaped the factory's destruction. In a weakened state, he met up with the Guy, but soon lost consciousness due to his injuries. When he regained consciousness, Dr. Chang, who had been detained by Hager, was treating him. As they watched the news, it became clear that Kai's neighborhood was in turmoil, the glow having turned most of its residents into near zombies. Determined to save his girlfriend amidst the chaos, Kyle decided to hurry back home, with Dr. Chang expressing her desire to leave too. Hager initially resisted allowing her to leave, but Kyle, for some reason,
Evil never looked this good.
trusted her and convinced Hager to let her go. I'm sure he's not going to regret it. Kyle navigated through the swarm of zombie-like assailants, finally locating Vanessa relatively unharmed. Too ill, lending his support, aided their escape from the chaotic neighborhood, leading them safely to his hideout. Determined to confront Father Bella, Kyle resolved to settle scores. At the church gates, he encountered Sims, Vanessa's brother, struggling to gain entry. After assisting Sims, they entered the church, only to witness Bella in conversation with Dr. Chang. Bella was a madman, viewing himself as a sort of prophet. The Weasel, Blades, one of Dr. Chang's subjects, and Cody were transformed into war, famine, pestilence, and death, respectively. Basically, Father Bella had his own version of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, minus the horses and the apocalypse. In a relentless pursuit, Kyle confronted each of the transformed entities, dispatching war, before discovering that famine had claimed Sim's life. Resolving that conflict, he turned his attention to the disgusting and creepy pestilence, Dr. Chang's abominable creation. At the end of the day, she turns out to be a freaking mad scientist. With each encounter, Kyle triumphed. Finally, he confronted Bella atop the church, where a shocking revelation unfolded. The priest disclosed that he was, in fact, Belger's brother, the primary antagonist of the first Final Fight game, and driven by a desire for revenge. Bella intended to mirror Cody's actions, coercing Cody into unwillingly slaying his own brother. The vendetta fueled Bella's scheme, having orchestrated Cody's addiction to the glow and transforming him into his version of death, a part of Bella's grand design for retribution. Kyle and the church faced Cody head-on, forcing the priest to seek to end Kyle's life with his own hands. However, in a surprising turn, Cody intervened, grappling with Bella and plummeting from the church rooftop, taking both of them down. Upon reaching the ground, Kyle found Bella on the brink of death, and without hesitating, Kyle delivered the final blow. Later scenes depicted Kyle and Cody in hospital beds, both on the path to recovery and already strategizing their upcoming battles. Kyle's optimism dimmed when news broadcasted Dr. Chang's survival. Not only that, after being questioned, she was released. Because she was totally not suspicious at all.
Evil never looked this good.
Yeah. That was Final Fight Streetwise. You can see why the series never recovered after this game. Despite the presence of familiar faces, it just doesn't capture the essence of a Final Fight installment. It feels like a strange blend of GTA and Yakuza, but without cars and Yakuzas. It's not the worst game out there, but it's still pretty bad. The silver lining is not considered canon in the main series. Surprisingly, the Final Fight characters, even those who were initially just random thugs, persist and have even evolved. They continue to live on even without their original series. Their development and growth are commendable, something I appreciate a lot. Some characters should take note of this. While the series may have ended, its spirit lives on, shining brighter than ever, an uneven yet beautiful legacy to treasure.
Evil never looked this good.
Special thanks to my patrons for their support. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.